You have questions and I have answers for them. So on today's Ask Jason, we're going to go through a few questions that I had on some of the comments. And so let's go ahead and get into the intro. Hey, Jason, if you've been watching the channel, you've been seeing me 9 years into this expat lifestyle now. I'm now on my fourth country, third continent in Lusaka, Zambia. And one of the things I started doing is sharing with you some of the tips and tricks I've learned to be an expat full time. But most importantly, sharing things with you about Africa as I'm traveling and as I'm settling down here in Lusaka to help you maybe start thinking about why you should consider Africa as a place or as a destination if you're thinking about being an expat or just ready to retire. So today's video, we're going to just go ahead and go through some questions. Now, most of these, some of it is dealing with, like one of them is dealing with how to transfer money, Airbnb, hotels, assistant, things of that nature. So we're going to get into that and cover that today. Now, before we do, I want to apologize. I've logged on my computer. I finally have enough electricity. We had electricity all night. That's the first time in a while. And I was able to go on my community tab and I'm seeing all of these comments. But like when I'm using my cell phone, I don't see these comments coming up. So I wanted to just apologize for that because I don't know if this is just a YouTube glitch or if you're a content creator too, are you having the same issues? Let me know down in the comments. But let's go ahead and get into the first question, which is, are there any Airbnb or hotels I would recommend? I do not recommend hotels in Africa. The reason being is they're overpriced and undervalued. This is including South Africa. This is including Botswana. And I don't mean it in a bad way. I'm just being honest with you. You're paying equivalent to most likely $100 US a night. You're not getting the best services. Like even if there's like right now in Lusaka, there's load shedding. If there's load shedding, you're paying $100 a night to not have electricity in your hotel. Like I stayed at the Chrismar one night and I paid, I think $70 US for one night because there was an event going on. There was no hot water. There was no DSTV, no internet. I had to bring my own internet box. Like you're not getting the value for your money. So that's why I don't recommend hotels. Now you could go to the overpriced hotel that Khalees stayed in Cargo 88 next to East Park Mall. But do you want to pay $200 a night just to, at the end of the day, it's just a damn a wall with bed. Like you're wasting money. Like if you have the money and you want to do it, more power to you, do it. But I'm going to tell you, I'm a cheap person. I like to get value out of my money, and I don't get value out of hotels in Africa. And I don't mean that to be rude. It just is what it is on that. And this is why I don't see many Africans using a lot of the hotels. Like even in Botswana, like the lodging is just overpriced. Like you're paying more than what you would go to pay on Las Vegas Strip. And you have zero of the amenities that Las Vegas offers you. This is one of the things, and I think it's going to come with education and true entrepreneurship coming to the countries in Africa. You have to provide value. Just providing a basic bed, basic room with paint, TV, and you just think you can just slap $100 price tag on it. There's a reason why in the United States, some of those hotels can get $100 to $500, even up to $1,000 a night. They're providing you value, and that value just doesn't exist here right now. I'm just going to be honest with you. So I don't recommend hotels. Now, as far as Airbnbs, you can find good Airbnbs here. I would recommend looking in Olympia, not Rose Park. I can't believe I was about to say it. Rhodes Park. RHODES PARK. Also Foxdale. Those are three good centrally located areas. You'll be around a pretty much large mall around you, and it shouldn't cost you using transportation more than 100 kwacha going each way, depending on where you're going. Even if you're going into town from those areas, you're looking at maybe 60 to probably 90 kwacha at the most. So I do recommend those three areas. There are some really good Airbnbs that you can find. Really take the time to read the reviews when you're going to when you're deciding on an Airbnb. Be very cautious and skeptical of an Airbnb that is newly listed or it has zero reviews. It's just buyers beware. Please hear me on that. Like I stayed in an Airbnb. It was over by Amanda Hill. It was a little cottage over there and some apartments. Really nice Airbnb. It was beautiful, very spacious. You had your privacy. It wasn't too hot, too cold. Everything was really perfect. The furniture was comfortable and nice. And so I do recommend Airbnbs. Even the Airbnb that I stayed in Dola was a very good Airbnb. Now they were still renovating that house. However, the renovation parts were like the kitchen, the back bathroom, things that I didn't really need, so it wasn't important. But it was still a really good location, right down from the bus stop. I could walk around the CBD, no problem. And it was very simple for me to get around in a Yango where it was easy for them to find. So Airbnb is what I recommend here starting out. And don't think you have to go to these overpriced Airbnbs. Like if you're looking at stuff in New Kasama, Long Acres, Silver Rest, which is really far, they're paying you an arm and a leg, and you're going to be to the mercy of that Airbnb. And what I mean by that is you got to have a car. You have to have a car. So don't even look too far outside of Olympia, Rhodes Park, and Foxdale. Those are the areas that I recommend. Northmead also, I'm sorry, Northmead also. Those are the four areas that I recommend. Like here where I'm at in Ibex, it's too far. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Don't come out this far, especially if you're just gonna be here for a short term. Make it to where you're not spending as much money on transportation and you can move around town easier and be able to walk around and actually see some things. So you can get Airbnbs. Now, if you want to find an assistant, now you can find people using social media. I'm gonna be honest with you. When you're looking for an assistant or anyone to work for you, I like to follow this motto: slow to hire, quick to fire. Meaning, don't be afraid to fire someone. If someone is not doing the job correctly, if they're not doing things correctly, you need to just fire them. Now, I prefer to only have women working for me. I feel women work better than men, and there's less bullshit you have to deal with than dealing with guys. For some reason, guys play this stupid game where they think they can get over. And someone who's came from war and does I have zero tolerance for stupid guys or lazy guys. I don't date guys, so I'm not gonna sit here and coddle you like a princess. So to save my attitude, I do not deal with men when it comes to working for them in a situation like that. So like I do use women to do most of the things that if need done, if it's around town or locally. I just find women to be more honest and you have less problems. And a woman is usually not afraid to tell you if she doesn't know how to do something or if she needs to find something out. I've found it personally. Most guys are going to lie to you. And I'm not talking about for the continent of Africa. I'm talking about everywhere you go. Remember, this isn't my first time leaving the United States. I originally left the United States at 18 years old, going to South Korea when I was in the military. So from there to present day now, 24 years later, men lie. I'm just going to tell you that straight up. They lie. They will choose drinking over working. And so I just have zero tolerance for it. And I don't hire men, point blank. Now, as far as how can you transfer money from your U.S. account to Zambia? The safest and easiest way is to do a SWIFT transaction. The reason why I say do a SWIFT transaction, it can go straight into your Zambian bank account. You will need to have a bank account here. Now, if you're just coming here to scout out the land, scout out the area, you can use your regular debit card. As long as it's a Visa or MasterCard debit card, I think even American Express works here. You can use those cards here. So don't feel like you need to bring cash or Western Union money to you. Do not do that. It's easier to just pull out cash when you will need the cash. Don't just have tons of cash on you. It causes problems. Also here in Zambia, it is not even slowly, it's moving at a very moderate rate. I would say in the next 10 years, this will probably be about a 75 to 95% cashless system. And what I mean by that, they have something called mobile money, where you can use Airtel, MTN if you're in the copper belt. And I think even now Zamtel is starting to introduce it. It's just not as popular yet. But Airtel is the big one where you can use it just about anywhere. If you go to the copper belt, you will need MTN because a lot of people just take MTN. And even now, like with the Yango drivers, which is their version of Uber, a lot of drivers are starting to opt into where they prefer you to pay mobile money so they don't have cash on it. And this is one of the things that makes countries safer. The less cash that's in circulation from hand to hand, the easier it is. Because like, let's say if I mobile money you 300 kwacha. For someone to get that money out, they have to take your password, get your password somehow, do all of these different things. And then you can just go to the Airtel and be like, hey, this is what happened. And they can end that transaction or put the money back in there. So it's just adding another line of security. And so you as a traveler, do not be traveling with a bunch of cash on you. Please hear me on that. That was one of the things I even had to explain to my mom while she was in South Africa, because she just wasn't understanding. She's like, well, can I give you cash for this? Give me cash for that. And I'm like, no, I don't want cash. And the other thing with cash is if you're bringing US dollars, anything less than a $50 bill, you're losing money exchanging that over. And so what I mean by that, like right now, I think the currency exchange, one US dollar is almost 27.64 kwacha, which is a great amount of money exchange rate. But if you're exchanging $20 bills, you're going to be looking at getting an exchange rate of maybe 25 kwacha per $1. You're losing 2.6 kwacha per dollar. That adds up over a while, especially as you're compounding it. So do not bring cash over. Do not bother Western Union yourself money. It's not one of those unstable countries like in some of the Central Americas. So you just come with your debit card. This is how I would handle it. Have a second debit card that you're just transferring money to. Do not come with your main debit card. You still have to always be aware of things getting stolen and cybersecurity. You're going to have probably a bigger shot of getting cyber hacked from your bank once you get back to the United States. I don't know why it is like this, but whenever I go back to the United States, there's always something happening on my card. I don't know if it's people with the little scanner things at the airports or what it is, but I always have that issue. And if you're a traveler too, let me know if you have that issue too. I've been now working with, not working with, but using more RFID blocking wallets, things of that nature. But just to save yourself the headache, have two cards. Leave your primary card locked up at home, but be able to log online and transfer money to your account on the second debit card. And that way with that second debit card, you can just swipe, 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 swipe. And you don't have to worry about if the card get hacked or if you lose the card or something, then you're not able to reach your money. So that way you're always able to reach your money. And so if you have any other questions, let me know in the comment below. If you're an expat also, or someone who's been traveling abroad for a while and have experience, leave comments in the below and let people know, because sharing is caring. The more information we share with each other, the easier it makes for you to be able to transition, just even if you just want to travel. Most reason why a lot of people don't travel is actually because they just don't know anything. They're unaware of what's going on. And if you leave all your information up to people back home, they're just going to scare you. How many people told me don't go to South Africa and they never left Dallas, Texas? So just keep that in mind. And so this is just a quick and short one. If you like this Ask Jason segment, let me know down in the comments below. I am starting to actually organize the channel. So I will probably have this Ask Jason segments coming out maybe every Thursday. If it's a specific day that you prefer, let me know in the comments. And the majority rules, but I'm thinking about releasing these type of videos on Thursday. So just remember this, I'm Jason, and success is simple once you know how.